Hey everybody, thanks for joining White Dog Outdoors. I'm taking you guys along with me today, and we've picked a particular stretch of river and we're gonna break it down. The point of today's video is gonna be taking a look at a run, analyzing it and figuring out how we're gonna fish it based on the conditions that we have. So my idea is to take you guys along on a few of these this year and really break down and figure out where we think we're gonna have fish, how we're gonna attack it, and then we'll talk about where we actually found fish with our actual experiences. So we're in upstate New York today on a pretty large river system, and it's the middle of June. I've got bright sunny conditions. Today is gonna be a high of 61. We're pretty much already there, but it's gonna be really sunny. There's really not hardly any clouds in the sky. Not ideal, but I gotta take the days that I can get out. I already temped the water. I'm at 64, maybe close to 65 degrees, so I'm okay to fish. I'll watch it throughout the day, but I don't expect it to get too much warmer today. But I just wanna make sure that we're safe to fish. So in some of my other videos where I've broken down where we're gonna be fishing, it's been in the colder winter months, right? And I've said a lot that I'm looking for the slowest, deepest water I can find. Well, now we're in June and it's a completely different story. And I think it really depends how those trout are reacting to the bug life as to where they're gonna be. So this particular run that we're on today has a nice long deep stretch along the one side, and then it's a little shallower grade on the other side, and then it gets up into the riffle that is much shallower. What I would expect, and what I've experienced in these types of situations before, especially when I'm in high sun conditions, is I'm probably gonna find those fish in the deeper areas. Now I'm hoping I can still find them up in some of the shallow riffle stuff, but I'm expecting I'm gonna find them in the deeper areas where the sunlight's a little harder to penetrate, and I'm not seeing any dry fly activity at all today, so I'm gonna be focusing on nymphing. The other thing I'll note is this is pretty average water conditions. It's not high, it's not low. I'm gonna be focusing on some smaller bugs today, typical nymphs. I'm gonna start off with a waltz worm and a caddis. These are standard size 14 jig hook patterns. I've found that the regular size nymphs work well here. If I need help getting down, I will switch to something like a sexy stonefly. This river does have good stoneflies. So I already know the bug life, I know what I'm gonna target, and now I'm gonna attack this stretch.
All right, before we get into the fishing, I wanna give you guys a little bit of a flyover of what this hole looks like and where I'm gonna be focusing and why. So first of all, I just want to say that this drone footage is from 2 years ago when the water conditions were a little bit different. The water is lower here than when I was fishing this spring. And so it's good because you can see the contours really easily, but just realize I was fishing higher water conditions than what this shows. Okay, so I'm going to do a flyover of this, but I'm just going to mention a couple of things. So you can see it's a little bit shallower here. You can see that color grade line. So it's a little shallower coming in. You get that fast water coming in and it plunges down into this deep section. We're going to get down there. This little run over here, it's a little bit deeper. That doesn't exist anymore. So that I just wanted to point that out. I didn't really have any opportunity to fish anything that looked like that. So we're going to get rolling. You can see all the current really comes down. It pushes over down to the left side. We have a steep bank on the left side, which makes it a little challenging because especially in higher water conditions when I was there, the bank is right behind you and the trees are right behind you. It makes casting really difficult. You can see I've got the break line right around here of that shallower water that comes in, and then you got the deep stretch on the river left side. Obviously on the right side, we're very shallow over here, and it's a slower grade into the deeper water. So you do get some nice current and bubble line down here, but at least in the high sun conditions with no bug activity, what I expected to see in this hole was kind of what actually happened. I expected to see the fish in the deeper sections, and I was hoping maybe I would find some fish in the shallower stuff. But in highlight conditions with no bug activity, I'm typically going to find them in the deeper stuff. If it was evening or morning and we had lower light conditions and we had bug activity, I think they would definitely, and I've experienced this in this particular hole, I would expect them to push up into the shallower stuff and be chasing bugs. All right, let's get a fly over this hole. So you can see the river left, nice current coming in, steep bank. It does get a little slower, at least on that day, as I get down toward the bottom of the hole and I get more speed up toward the head of the hole. I got a nice tail out here. You get a nice V shape with some nice rocks. I do believe when I was there, this V was a little bit wider than it is in this drone footage. But those tail outs are always good places. So when I'm going to fish this hole, I'm going to fish methodically, but I'm always going to fish going upstream. So I'm going to start downstream. I'm going to work my way up work my way up and across, right? So I'm going to work my way up, and then eventually what we did was we crossed up here where it was shallow, we walked down, and we work our way back up this river right side as well. So we want to make sure we're covering water methodically and heading upstream, okay? I'll let this run just a little bit more so you can see the full hole. But hey, let's get to the fishing.
If I remember correctly, this is deep through here, but it shallows up as I get to the end here. You can kind of see where it funnels in. And so sometimes those little tailing areas where they kind of funnel up can also be very good areas. So I don't want to miss that. So I'm going to start back here. This is what I'm going to call the end of my run here. Oh, so hard to walk here without making noise and disturbing things. Oh, and what I say about the stoneflies, right here is a great little stonefly husk. So they are definitely in here. The water's not fast enough for me to throw on a big sexy stone that has weight in it. So, all right, it's definitely shallowing out here. So we're gonna start throwing in here. Boy, this is barely moving here. Not what I like. I definitely want that faster water up there. That's definitely where I prefer to fish. But I don't want to miss any fish. So we're going to fish methodically. If you saw that, I don't know if you guys can see the leader well enough, but could have just been a rock, but my leader was going down nice and smooth, and all of a sudden it kind of stopped short but abrupt right there. Same spot. Must be a rock. Must be a rock. But if you don't know, set. When in doubt, set the hook. Ooh, that was a fish. That was a fish. And I pulled it out of his mouth. So we'll see what we do. On this section, I'm almost floating the sighter just so I don't pull my flies along too much because it's so slow here. See that? It's bopping around on the bottom. There we go. I can feel the tap, 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 tap. So I'm in, like I said, when I was walking down here, I'm in an area, it's deep in front of me, but it starts to shallow up and it gets a little V here. So I always like to fish those little areas where they have the little V's. Looks like we got what, a little brownie? Little brownie, get over here, Mr. Brown. All right, Mr. Brownie took, and this is the fly. This is the magic fly from last time. So I'll describe this a little bit to you guys once I get a little more slack here. He took the waltz worm. You can see he took the waltz worm, pretty little guy. And this is my upper fly, right? So this is not my point fly. This is the smaller one on below. Wow, he looks so pretty. He almost looks wild, but I don't think there's wilds in here. See ya, bud. All right. So the first one comes at the V and the tail out. So that's always a good place to try. We'll see if we can get a few more in here. He did hit before because I felt the tap, tap, tap. So this is difficult. I gotta try to work my flies around behind me, but not let it get too far back so I don't snag the hill behind me. I'm gonna slowly work my way upstream, quietly, hopefully. These rocks don't make it easy. Oh, not at all. It's such a steep bank over here. It's like so hard to walk without kicking rocks down and making a whole bunch of noise. All right, we're gonna come out of the water to do it. In slow water like this, there's not a lot of noise in the water. And so I don't want to disturb the fish by making a lot of noise when I'm walking. And yeah, I'm making total crunching noises here. Not ideal at all. There we go. That's a good, oh, one recording. So I set the hook on a fish, missed him, put myself in a tree, got a tangle. Was able to get that tangle mostly out. Went back, made the same drift, and felt a definite more definite hit that time. So we have probably another little brownie on. Yep, another little brownie, and he again took the waltz. So I'm starting to piece together, and this seemed to be what happened last time I was here, is everybody wanted the waltz. So maybe, just maybe, we'll experiment with flies a little bit and see what's what. But another little brownie. This one's definitely a stocky. So, all right, buddy. I'm starting to like the speed of the current here a little bit better. I'm definitely starting to get more of the current now, which is what I want. I'm going to just be gauging whether or not I can still stay in contact with the bottom or near bottom. Oh, I thought that was a fish. All right, again, I'm casting up ahead of me. I'm starting up ahead of me, coming down that current seam. Sometimes I find them that way. I'm not finding them that way today. I just don't think they want the inside seam today. This water is slow enough that I think they want the main current. Sometimes when the water's slower, it's a little harder to read if you're tapping bottom or if you've got a fish. Because they can, yeah, they can play with it a little bit longer, whereas in fast water they don't really have time. They got to make a decision. In fast water they're going to take it or they're not. In slow water they can kind of peck at it and play with it. I would really like to get this out further. I just don't know if I can get myself out further. I'm really running into limitations with what's behind me, especially with light flies. If I had heavier flies I would have a little more leeway, because I could like pendulum cast and get some fish, get some casts out there a lot further. Okay, we're getting a little bit faster out there. It's still deep. This is maybe, if I can't get down, if it's really that deep out there and a little bit faster, I might have to go with slightly heavier bugs. All right, we're gonna start moving up a little bit. All right, now I'm starting to get excited because I'm getting into the section of water that I would really prefer to fish. Now the question is, how deep is it gonna be? And am I gonna need to put on heavier bugs to get down to those fish? Or are they gonna be hanging in the upper part of the column? Because the two fish that I've gotten so far have both taken the waltz worm, which was my dropper fly, about 1.5 feet above the other fly. I have a little more room behind me to cast. Good. It's a little bit shallower grade here, so I'm not quite so steep. By the way, in this situation, because I'm using lighter flies, I'm really not keeping anywhere near as a tight line as I would if I were fishing heavier flies. When I get up here, we'll gauge. I might switch up to slightly heavier flies, in which case I'm probably going to start switching up to keeping it a little bit tighter than I would with these softer flies, lighter flies. These lighter flies, I don't want to be pulling too much because I'm going to affect their drift, and I don't want to affect their drift in this. I just want them to come down basically at the speed of the current. And so far I've just had very slow takes because it's in very slow water. There we go. That one was basically right at my feet, right along the bottom. Man, it feels like he's fighting a little bit better than the other ones. No? What are you? Oh yeah, he's better. He's way better. Heck. So one of the things about this particular river, I picked this river because it's got a decent fish count in it. I did not pick this river for the size of its fish. The fish in here are generally not that big. They don't tend to hold over incredibly well. This guy is definitely thrashing around here. He's a better fish. Come on, buddy. He's a nicer brown, that's for sure. And I think he also, wow, that's like a really nice brown for in here. And he took the freaking waltz too, man. Get out of my feet, bro. Oh my God, get in the net. That's actually probably one of the nicest browns. Oh my God, I have a double. Oh no, I don't. Oh no, we went through the net. Oh no. Okay, we're in trouble now. All right, buddy, sorry. Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. I've never had a fish go through this net before, and he just totally did that. Oh wow, he looks really pretty. That's not a typical fish for this river at all. Okay, to be honest, that's not a fish I was expecting to connect with here. I actually thought we'd only be catching about the size of the ones we caught before, maybe slightly bigger. That was probably one of the best fish I've ever caught out of this river. It just doesn't tend to hold big fish. But this was a very likely section. We got the fast water coming in. It's just starting to get slow. It's nice and deep right there. I literally caught him off my feet, right under my rod, off my feet, boom, right on the bottom. And he just sipped those flies as they came down. I did not actually feel that. I lifted up and I felt the weight and I set the hook, and then lo and behold, it was actually a pretty decent fish. So all right, so we're finding fish so far in the likely spots. We got one in the tail, we got one in the middle, and we got one in a deep section just as we're starting to get a little bit faster current. And one other thing to note, every single fish has come on the waltz worm, which was the upper fly. They have not touched the caddis on the bottom at all. I may also, since I'm getting into faster water, if I'm going to change my point fly from a caddis, which honestly is not that heavy, it's a 3.3 mil bead, but this particular one doesn't have any lead in it. I might change up to the regular sexy stone, not the sexy bomb, but just the regular sexy stone, because I know there's stone flies in here, and that'll get me a little more weight. It'll help me get down in the faster current. But since they love that waltz worm on top, I'm going to keep the waltz worm on top and see if they continue to hit that over a stone. Oh, I thought that was a big one. That's bottom. Well, that's okay. That's bottom. Wait, something's moving. I have a fish. So what I think is happening is I have a fish on the upper fly, but my bottom fly is snagged. This is interesting. I'm actually snagged and I have a fish on at the same time. There, he just kicked it loose. He just kicked it loose. Oh my gosh. So no doubt he took the waltz worm because he just kicked the bottom fly loose. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And that is exactly what happened. He took the waltz worm. He took the waltz worm, and while this caddis was snagged on the bottom. Hang on, buddy. Hang on, little buddy. All right, let's get you loose. All right, so this is definitely this year's stocking class. Pretty little fish, though, aren't they? Off you go. So, because I snagged bottom with the caddis, I'm probably not going to change up quite yet. So far, I've been catching my fish mostly in the deep edge here, or out from the deep edge in the current. Which is where I've been expecting to catch these fish. When we get up into the shallower stuff, that's where I'm really curious. In these bright sunlight conditions on a warm day without any bug activity, I'm probably not going to see fish up in the shallower stretches. I'm probably going to find them in these deeper edges. So we'll see if we can find any. I would bet you toward evening, when the bug activity starts increasing, all these fish that are hanging in the deep are going to move up into the shallower areas where a lot of these bugs are doing their activity and hatching. this can be a really fun run with a dry fly when the fish are going. That could be really, really cool. But not happening right now. See, I feel like it's going a little fast and I'm not getting down. I might start changing up here. I'm going to cast up a little bit further. Yeah. I'm not really catching bottom at all here. I might go with a little more weight. All right, so we are retied. I have a little bit heavier fly on here. I have one of my Sexy Stones. It is not the bomb version. It is just the regular version, but it's still gonna be way heavier than my previous caddis fly. And I got my Waltz on top again. Not quite as much distance between the Waltz and the Stone. Oh my God, so much heavier. So much heavier already. We're gonna see what this feels like. We're gonna see if we can get down and feel the bottom. So just because of how heavy this fly is, I'm suddenly in much more contact with my flies, and it's a lot easier to cast my flies. So as I'm casting ahead of me, I'm going to keep a tighter line so that I don't hang, oh, there's a fish, so that I don't hang bottom. Oh, that's a good one. Feels like a good one. Big head shakes. I almost wonder if this one came on the Stone, because man, he hit. When they hit like that, sometimes I wonder if they just are going for that big Stone. We will see. Golly, another, oh no, he hit the freaking Waltz again. Are you kidding me? Dang. They do not want anything but a Waltz. And again, I'm quite shocked. Oh my God. What another good fish. What another good fish. Are you kidding me? Honestly, I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked at the fish I'm catching here today. Maybe we've had a good, we did have heavy rains the last couple summers, so maybe we're getting better holdovers. Wait a second. Are you the same freaking fish, dude? You look like the same fish. Hold on. Hold on. We're gonna get video and pictures of this guy. Are you kidding me? I'm looking at the spots right now. He's got a triple and two close. Oh my God, this is the same freaking fish. Same fish. Are you kidding me, bro? You didn't get enough the first time? Two up top. This is the same fish. This is absolutely the same fish. Okay, you guys just caught on camera. I just caught the same fish basically 2 times in a row. On the same fly, like legit, same exact fly. You gotta be kidding me. All right, because you played twice, buddy, you're just gonna get released. So, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. All right, well, whatever. I guess the Waltz worm is the freaking ticket, man. And that one was... It was out in faster water this time, so I released him and he went back out here. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is why I like using the stonefly though. Even though the fish didn't take the stonefly, it helped me get the fly down where I wanted it to. And so sometimes those lighter flies, you know, in the slower water you might have to, but like number one, with a heavier fly I can cast it better. And then I'm also getting it down through this faster water a little bit better. I've caught the same fish twice before, but never so quickly. Like, I caught him, what, 10 minutes ago? Maybe 15 minutes ago, because I had my camera issue or my microphone issue. But like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't even fathom what just happened. That's ridiculous. All right, we have a lot more water to fish, but right now I'm into the prime area. This is the area I really thought I was going to find the fish, which I guess I have. Just happened to be the same fish as before. Oh my God, that was another fish. And unfortunately, okay, so what happened on that fish? I'm using a mono rig. It's an 8-pound line. And when I went to set the hook, the line slipped through my finger and I did not get a good hook set on that fish. So strike one for the mono rig. I think with a regular fly line that wouldn't have slipped through my hands like it just did. Oh, that's gonna go up further. I'm doing that on purpose, but I'm also potentially in the shallower water. I'm casting ahead of me because I don't want to spook those fish when I walk up. As I'm moving my way upstream, I will typically do that. I will cast directly where I'm about to walk, or close to it. Any fish that I potentially might spook if I didn't do that. Okay, I'm going to try to work my way across to anything I can reach now. We're into the faster stuff. I'm still trying to gauge how deep it is. It looks like it's still deep out there because I'm not feeling it. I know that it shallows up. Well, you know what? I haven't been here in a couple of years, so this run can completely have changed. Oh, that's a fish. That one took it almost as immediately as it hit the water. That was crazy. That one was up in the faster stuff. I don't know how deep it is up there. So I'm honestly catching more fish today than I really thought I would. And we'll see if this guy, God, he feels good too. Why does everybody feel so good today? Oh, good Lord. Yeah, buddy. Please tell me that I didn't catch the same fish 3 times. No, this is a good one though. Another good brown. Another good brown. Maybe we had a more successful holdover than I thought. Okay, that is a different fish. It's a good one. It's a different one. So that's good. So you guys can see here. Nice one. Took the stony. Sexy stone baby. Oh, he's a stocky. Look at that fin. All right, buddy, here you go. There he goes.
All right, I'm going to save you guys from watching me doing a lot of fishing across this shallow stuff without catching anything. So what I found in this particular day, starting in the tail of the pool on the river left side, I worked my way up and I caught fish throughout the stretch right up until where it starts to get shallow, right along this line. The last fish I caught on the river left side was where the shallow dumps right into the deep. I spent a lot of time fishing this shallower stretch all the way up and across, even back to across this rock. I ended up crossing the river, going back downstream, and working my way back up the river right side, and I didn't catch anything there until I got to maybe right where the faster water comes in and it starts to get a little bit deep, probably right in this pocket area right in here is where I catch my last fish of the day.
Oh, there we go. Another one takes the waltz. Ugh, just another little stocky guy, but we'll let him go. All right. Well, that one was kind of where I expected him to be. I was hoping I was going to start getting them into this current where it comes down. So I'm really catching them where they get from the shallow down into the deep. So that was, I bet you, probably the last fish of the day I'm going to connect with. All right, we're gonna wrap this one here. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Moral of the story, today I was actually seemed to be, what happened is what I actually expected to happen. It doesn't always happen that way. But with the high sun, I kind of figured I was gonna find them in those deeper areas rather than in the shallower areas, and that's exactly what happened. So bright sunny conditions, not a lot of bug activity, probably gonna find them down deeper where they're gonna be hiding out of the sun a little bit more, not chasing a lot of flies. I do think if I came back in the evening, if I had a lot of bug activity, I think those fish are going to move out of those deeper areas and push up into the shallow areas and be more actively feeding. So anyway, we're going to call it quits for now, but there's a couple little spots upstream that I'm going to try out. I really haven't done it. They look a little bit slower. They look a little bit deeper. I'm going to give them a shot. So might be a little bonus footage from those particular sections. I'm just gonna run the GoPro. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go do a little bit more fishing, but I'll see you guys soon.